Spreading light in times of darkness is the goal behind the new temporary murals in front of the District Bar and Grill downtown. WYFR reporter Alyssa Kelly meets with the local artist behind the pieces of art, a former District Bar and Grill employee looking to spread positivity within the community.
Yeah, less than a week ago, a shooting outside District Bar and Grill caused damage to the restaurant's windows. Temporary wood was placed on the windows, a reminder of what took place. But a local artist wanted to change that.
Let's make a positive twist to this because our community isn't always so negative.
Saya Rin is a local artist and the creator behind 3 temporary murals in front of District Bar and Grill.
When I saw the news report Tuesday night, I thought, wow, that's really unfortunate.
Less than a week ago, the District Bar and Grill was forced to pick up glass and soothe nerves after a shooting damaged the restaurant's windows.
And then I saw a lot of the comments of Rockfordians, their opinions, and some were positive, some were negative.
The artist wanted that to change.
Art really does heal communities.
Rin is a former employee of the district and asked the owner about a mural, a simple gesture to spread positivity.
My thought was peace, love, and music. I know that we needed peace and love, of course, for our community, but also this establishment does a lot of awesome shows. They're really big into the music, so I thought this would be a great theme.
Now those 3 murals shine bright in front of the restaurant.
I would hope that they would see that not everything is negative and that we as Rockfordians, we can get up out of our houses and do something for our community to make it better.
What's so unique about an artist's perspective is that they step up during times like this so that people are understanding that there's more positivity out there, there's more nonviolence out there, there's more love out there than there is hate and anger and violence.
The 3 murals will stay until the windows can be replaced, but the owner of the District Bar and Grill says they will display the art through the windows once they are replaced.
Thank you, Alyssa. And according to police, the investigation into the shooting outside the District Bar and Grill led to the arrest of a 26-year-old man and his mother.